get ready to go. Let's watch the Jim Pillsbury Show at the Naughty Pine Cafe. Forget the flannel, don't change the channel. Get yourself a cup of cocoa. Here comes the Jim Pillsbury Show. Everybody's screaming what they want to do. Everybody's dreaming, and that includes you too. Hey! Everybody's dreaming what they want to do, yeah. Everybody's dreaming, and that includes me too. Hey! Everybody's dreaming of what they want to do. Everybody's dreaming, and that includes you too. Oh, it's such a small world, and don't you know it? How can you stand it, baby? Hey, you gotta get down to the Naughty Pine Cafe. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jim Pillsbury. As always, we are coming to you live from the Naughty Pine Cafe. That music in the background is the Victory Band led by our own Grave Easton. The drummer had a little trouble this evening for some reason, back from holiday. And the applause is from our new audience that we are now allowing in our studio. Excuse me, may I have the air conditioning turned on, please? It is so warm in here tonight. My apologies for perspiring on camera. It's not always easy to do all these things. We have a very, very special show, but I want to thank the band personally for showing up. I've been away, and they've been away, and my friend Gravy is here. Frank Solitaro on rhythm guitar, Johnny Hugo on the keys, and Christian, who you will see later, Eberl is on bass, as they are every Monday night. So could you let me know, anyone in the back room, if the AC has been turned on? It's on. Okay, thank you very much. I want to say thank you to our crew, the best crew on public access anywhere that we can think of. And Michael Morrissey is directing. Don Harkness is on switchgear, CG, all the graphic stuff. Steve is, the caveman, is on the soundboard for the show. And our beautiful Amy Rosenberg is on the soundboard for the band. It's a complicated now production that we do. We have our beautiful Jolie on my camera this evening, who's used to be floor director and all the rest of that. And our Deb, the queen of camera people here on Jim Pillsbury Live, is on the guest camera. And we have a new position now, so you'll see different angles. Joe Kay is on the guest camera and the band camera. And I think you'll see that there's a whole different perspective here at the Knotty Pine Cafe. We've done some rearranging for who knows what reason, but we've made it happen anyway. So, Gravy, how are you, buddy? Nice to see you.
Jim, just fine.
I'm happy to be back from my holiday, and maybe next week or the week after we can talk about the events of being in the sun for such a long period of time. 7 days of direct sunlight is really unbelievably good. So,
if I may say so, you look remarkably well.
I feel like really $110. It really does feel great to be in the sun and the warm, and having all your needs met, not having to worry about going anywhere or doing anything, or who's paying the bill, or for food, or anything you want is right there. So it's really, we have really a lot to be thankful for, to believe it or not. And I am thankful to be alive and be sharing the show with us, with you and the band. We have this is our Irish celebration. I've always wanted to do this and never found an Irish representative to come on the show. So we really, now, this is a first for the show.
Another first.
Another first, exactly. Joining us this evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we're on, sure, I have no idea. We're joined by Cliff McGahan, and he is folklore in action. He is a young man with a band and a beautiful sound. I've just recently heard the band, and wait until you hear and beautiful dancers and fiddle players. And Cliff, thanks for...
Well, that's why it's so warm in here.
That's why it's so warm, and all the Irish people are just so hot. Yeah.
Well,
I'm wondering what happened. Was it something that I did perhaps in the renovation to the place? Is there any way anybody could communicate with me during the show? I'd really be appreciative.
It's good. You might want to keep it. Letterman's got the cold in his studio. Keep the warm.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's a weight loss thing.
After, but the problem is,
an audience here.
I'm so thin now that people really don't want me to be any thinner.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
I wish I had the same problem.
I heard that you dropped a lot. So
I did. I got it at home in a closet.
Amazing. Yeah. Ready to pounce?
It's going to come back. I leave it there just to haunt me.
Really?
So yeah, when I have 4 or 5 pints of Guinness, I come home and look at that and I go, I got to cut down those.
Really? Do you cut down?
No,
I didn't.
It's a nice theory, though.
Well, the whole folklore thing. How'd you get involved in that, may I ask?
Oh, it's a good question. Well, I mean, it's kind of...
Not only do you have the gift of gab, let me say.
I do. Well, it's a good thing. I'm half Irish and half Scottish. I got a terrible drinking problem, 2 hands and 1 mouth, right? So it's funny. It's a weird thing because for a lot of years, my involvement in my own family's history, that's what kind of dragged me into it. And it's unfortunate. We kind of live in a society where kids my age know more about the guy that swings a piece of stick at a ball than he knows about his own family background.
Yes, exactly.
So I was lucky. My mom's from Nova Scotia. And so every summer we went up to my grandparents' farm up in Nova Scotia. And my grandmother spoke Scottish Gaelic, a language that's not spoken very often anymore. Right. And so I kind of started learning stuff up there. All the family's fiddle players up there. And then I had the Irish side. My dad's a Boston Irishman back from years ago.
Right,
so,
from the potato boat thing?
Well, yeah, the potato boats, off the boats worked. My great-grandfather worked in Faneuil Hall selling fruit at the old Faneuil Hall back in the day. So kind of a long history, and it's, I don't know, it's important to me. I think our own history is something that we don't know enough about. So that's kind of how I kind of get into it, and then it degenerated into degrees and money spent. And
well, But it's something that you didn't just think of this. You're a kind of a young guy to begin with, so you've grown up with this. So this is kind of a family tradition. Folklore, true folklore, is passed on.
Well, I mean, that's
through the generations, and that's how some of this stuff actually goes. Correct.
Well, most of us in the band tonight, we pretty much, we've had that connection with, up in Nova Scotia where a lot of us go, Ireland's the same way. There's this connection between the generations. There's nothing between someone who's 80, 90 and myself who was 10, 12, 13 years old.
I get
It was always, they'd sit down and talk to you. They'd tell you stories. It didn't matter what your age was because you were part of this bigger picture. And I think we've kind of, as a kid especially, I mean, I'd come home, I grew up around here and came home and it was kind of a different feel. You didn't get that feel. Everybody was busy and what was, it usually takes me a week to get into the groove of slowing down when I go up to...
But that's so rural. That's so in mind and in space, is it not?
Right. Well,
still?
It's definitely up there. It's definitely changing a lot. I mean, the internet's changing things. Things have definitely come in. The Gaelic language, which is spoken quite frequently up till a few years back, is no longer that commonly spoken up in Nova Scotia. Ireland's a little bit better, but the fiddle music in Ireland and Scotland and those places,
Still,
the Celtic countries, it's really...
It's part of the heritage that young people should pass on. And your band is young people, so
exactly.
it's really, that's a good thing. That,
I'm the old man in the group.
And you're 28?
Yeah, I wish, yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
that's a nice theory.
Well, I'd say, hey, listen,
I'd let you cut my leg open.
You get the best treatment on the show. Okay?
I'd let you cut my leg open and count the rings to find out how old I really am, but...
we don't do live surgery
Right,
yet,
exactly.
but,
if it's a live show, it could be kind of tough to cauterize and all that fun stuff.
So you've been involved in this sort of almost professionally for how long?
Well, I worked in high tech for a bunch of years. I worked for Cisco Systems, and I wasn't a very happy camper doing that.
Yeah, but you were rich.
Oh, I was rich, beyond belief.
Oh,
no,
man,
everybody gets out of there rich. I wish I did, but I came in at the wrong time, my friend.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, right at the end. Right at the end, when everybody.
That's the luck of the Irish for you.
Well,
yes, sir.
Well, I mean, that's what I tell people all the time. Luck of the Irish, potato famine. You put two and two together. Where's there any luck involved in that?
No luck at all.
It's
absolutely no luck at all. That's so funny.
So I worked in high tech for a bunch of years while I was finishing my master's degree in folklore.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that, and while I was, trying to get things going and trying to keep up what I was doing, but it's tough when you're running the. I got laid off and said, the heck with it, let's play some tunes.
Yeah. And you're a family man, so you have commitments at home.
Right. Exactly. You got to pay those
being
bills.
An Irish boy that 9 children and growing.
Well,
is certainly not unreasonable.
Those are the old days of the Irish Catholic, I think. We're no longer like that, unfortunately.
That's not folklore?
Well, it is. Some of it is. Some of it's good folklore. But I'm telling you, some of the size of the families up there in Canada, I mean, you get some of these farms with 14, 15, 16 kids, and it was to tend the farm. Things changed.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, but that's how the whole Boston area got populated with all these fiddle players. And Doug, our fiddle player, his grandfather used to be still well known in this area, but run dances all in Roxbury. Roxbury had a huge Celtic dance halls all around the Hibernian Hall, Rose Croix. Some of them are still there, but huge dance halls.
Back in the day, that was
back in the 40s was huge. I mean, that place was packed with Irish, everybody that came from all these countries. So Boston is really an important spot in this whole big picture of Irish Celtic music.
Yeah, right off the boat, Irish, when they were actually more of discriminated against as lower than Italians, lower than everyone else.
And I'll tell you, it's funny how in a couple generations, how my friends have some of them that are Irish, most of the ones in the band are great. But some of my other friends, how they've turned completely. It's like, do you know how your grandfather, great-grandfather was treated? I mean, do you not understand where we came from? So it's this kind of repetition of things. It's learning through experiences
and
all
unfortunately,
that
doesn't seem to be carried through the generations.
No, it doesn't.
That particular, I mean, that was, that's the battle cry for a lot of people's situations today. How you treated me 50, 100, 200 years ago, 300, whatever it is, okay?
Some of those stereotypes are right, though. I mean, that's the problem I have with stereotypes. Like, my favorite meal, a 7-course meal, a 6-pack of Guinness and a baked potato. I mean, really, that's like one of my favorite things in the world. And it's not a stereotype.
It's not. It's just something that
something
you really,
I like.
You really like. And to be thin like you are. Did you have a question, Grave? I thought I saw your hand.
I wanted to share my lineage also. I'm half Irish and half Scotch. Half of me wants to drink, the other half doesn't want to pay for it.
Right. Well, that's I tell my mother all the time, you know what a Scotsman's favorite drink is? someone else's.
Yeah.
And,
Does the whole the thing about the drunken Ed McMahon with Johnny Carson, the whole aura of drunkenness of Irish, does that wear on you?
It does a bit, yeah. I mean, but the reality is I'm a big fan of illicit booze, moonshine. In Ireland they call it poitín. In Nova Scotia they call it poch dú, black
Down south
clot.
they call it white lightning or lightning.
Right.
And it's absolutely lethal.
Well, my grandfather apparently got the RCMP they were roaming around one day because the fellows were out making moonshine in the hills, and he was going up to the mountain with 25 pounds of brown sugar, and the RCMP stopped him. And apparently, my grandfather said, "Can a guy make a batch of brownies nowadays?"
Oh
without getting himself
no,
into too much
really?
trouble?" Yeah.
Come on.
This is going back in the 40s,
That's
50s.
so
They knew.
funny.
They certainly knew what he was doing.
Oh,
I'm sure. But,
clearly.
But that stuff's good. You get a good day with that stuff.
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
I can't imagine though that drinking all the things that a semi-intelligent person knows about drinking today, you almost want to lean away from advertising.
Oh, you do, but I'll tell you.
In many ways.
You do, but I'll tell you, I've had some really great experiences with some of the older people being taken into that community by that. It was almost like a rite of passage. You
Oh, I
have some
see.
of my illicit moonshine. If you can get through that,
see.
then I'll speak Gaelic to you for 2 hours straight, right? But until you can get past
Yeah,
that,
that's so funny.
and so it's really kind of, you have to put your time in, unfortunately,
Yeah.
you know? And,
Yeah,
and I have 2 livers, so I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I got one on eBay.
Did you really?
No.
Good price?
No,
Oh.
no. I mean, you used to be able to sell kidneys and body parts on eBay, but they stopped that,
Well,
unfortunately.
that may come back. You know what I mean?
Let's
that
hope.
That may come back. It's popular. We could be doing that to some of the unwanted criminals that we have in there. I have a whole batch of.
That's another show, I think.
Yeah, probably so.
Right.
But
Well,
I thought I'd throw that in there.
They
anyway,
weren't too nice to the Irish that came to Boston. Threw them out in Boston Harbor on these islands and let them rot out there. You know, and
Well,
so,
then we don't want. Yeah, we don't
right.
necessarily want that. But there are some pretty ugly criminals in society today
right,
that
right.
I think we perhaps could sell off pieces.
mostly elected, right? Oh, sorry. Did I just say that out loud?
No, not at all. No. Remember, nudity and profanity, the
Right.
only 2 things that are not allowed on this show.
I appreciate
and,
that.
remember, this show is completely handicap accessible. Now, you're going to play some music for
Yeah.
us and perhaps share with us what your talent is about the band. And we have 3 separate sets, music,
Sure, yeah.
dancing, and some music and dancing, and I look forward to that. And I'd like you to perhaps introduce the band from here, if we could.
Sure, not a problem.
And we'll let Joe and Deb line up the shots of the band, and we'll do a little introduction, and starting with our beautiful Abby.
Yeah, we got Abby McQuarrie. She's from Millis, not too far from here. She just got back from Scotland, and she was over there looking at colleges and
Nice
stuff
white.
like that. So,
Nice white girl, yeah,
she's-
well, you got to go away and either get white.
Well, that's not. She's going to look at schools. Abby's in getting ready for college, so she's
Right,
been looking
and you
at
don't want to go out
schools
in the sun
Well,
looking for colleges with a tan, okay?
well-
Because then they think, hey, that woman's got money.
See, Abby's a smart kid, though.
Yeah.
Like she's applying to Harvard and other places
Oh,
like
I
that.
can't imagine.
And,
I can't
I've
imagine.
walked through Harvard on my way from John Harvard's brew house, but that's
Drunk
about as close as
on
I
your
got.
ass.
I didn't say that, but ossified might be the word.
So Abby is.
So Abby's from Millis. She step dances, plays the fiddle, plays a few other instruments as well. She's quite talented. And we got Doug Lamy, and he's from Stoneham area.
Right.
And he plays fiddle as well. And like I said, it's a family thing with him. It's family with most of us, history and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And
our we can't leave out our Christian.
Christian, well, I've known Christian longer than the rest of them, so he's been friends with my family for years. We grew up in the same town together, so we've known each other, and we've been playing together, and when we all play St. Patty's Day usually, and that's been kind of the thing that's been keeping us together. Every St. Patty's Day we get together and play some tunes. We get together otherwise. But
when I hear that story, I love to hear that because we think that Christian is one of the best finds for the show and for our musical, and Gravy agrees, and so does Frank.
Well, we got to thank
I mean,
his
it's
mom
just-
too for his new instrument he got on his 30th birthday. Although it was 28th twice.
No,
I think, right? So
I didn't,
sorry, I didn't just
hear
give
about
that away.
I didn't hear
apologize.
about that. But yeah, Christian really does a great job. And we 2 weeks ago, he played acoustic with Gravy and did all 3 show songs. And I heard from some people before I went on vacation, and they loved it. They absolutely loved the difference between no band and just you guys. So it was really, really great work. I wanted to say that publicly. People really liked it. So.
Jim, what most people probably don't know is that one of the songs that I did was not even planned, and he jumped right in to the song.
And that's even more to his credit.
That's a true professional.
He's a true professional, absolutely. And he really actually pulled all the band with you together, and
Right.
because I wasn't in any shape to actually do anything about this. So let's get you over unattached. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll come back with Cliff. Already he's falling down before he even gets to the bar. Why don't we go over to the band shot, Michael, while Cliff, and then when he gets halfway over, switch over to me, and I'll have a public service announcement. You know, lying on the beach 6,000 miles away, could I? Thank you. Lying on the beach 6,000 miles away from here, white sand, blue sky, everything was just heaven. French people, German people, people of all size, shapes, colors, all fully dressed, not dressed, everything. Not a problem all week long until 5 American kids, around 20 some odd, sat down next to me. And you know, they were the most obnoxious people on the beach. Out of thousands of people on miles and miles of beach. And these American college kids, I think they were college kids, were just obnoxious. Even the French said, "Oh, Americans." I can only imagine what that means. Anyway, we have the band coming right up, and whenever you're ready, Cliff, we're ready for you.
All right. We'll get going with some jigs, I think.
Ooh, jigs and A.
Jigs and A.
All right. that, Abby?
9 years.
9 years, wow. And you'll do that the rest of your life?
Yeah.
That's great. Unbelievable. You were just so talented, and I hope the floor made enough noise. We had carpenters build that special for you this evening, so.
No, I can make some more noise.
Could you fall on this cliff and just see? I just want to, I want to feel that thud, you know what I mean? I'm sure it has, more than once. Would you be playing us another song of any type?
You play another set of tunes?
I would say so.
Sure.
Yeah. Best not to debate it too long, though. It is live TV. We're going to get our musical director after you. Workout that is, huh? That's wild. Now you actually play and dance, and we'll see that later. This will be a real, I don't know as I've ever seen that in my life. That must be really difficult. Cliff, you don't dance and...
No, see, that's why we look the way we
Okay, and Christian, should I peep and bother and Amy?
I dance, but very late at night.
And in front of anyone or a mirror or just dance?
I dance alone.
Dance alone. Oh, sad. It's a sad.
Actually, up in Nova Scotia is a real strong tradition, and in Ireland, of dancing. And so you get, that's another real thing that brings people together. I mean, my wife and I, when we met, we went to dances all the time. And in Watertown, at the Canadian American Club, there's still
Really?
dances there. Irish dances, Nova Scotia dances, round dances, set dances, kind of similar to what you would see at, they probably teach it in high schools. Square dancing,
Yeah.
but not boring.
Oh, yeah, right.
Square dancing, but not boring.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
good music.
yeah,
Get
yeah.
your feet going.
Yeah, it does. It kind of makes you want to, it makes you want to clap. No percussion with any kind of your music, right?
Ever there's percussion. Feet.
No, but no formal
There is.
banging bones or sticks or...
Abby brought hers with you. If you'd like to hear a little bit of that at some
I,
point.
that would be a really cool, yes, that would be outstanding. I'd love to hear that. So you have, I love this, so I think what we're going to do is skip our middle song and just stay with you guys. So you pick whatever it is. Should I stall for time here, Christian? Yeah, maybe. Maybe not. Okay.
Talk a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Gaelic act, Jim.
Would you be speaking in the Gaelic?
Yes, I would.
Oh, now that could be. No, well, listen, say it, and you know what? If the censors censor us, really? Now that sounds like a drink I had in the Dominican Republic last week.
Hagulak Amor
No, I don't want to know.
Oh no, it means my love is at you. It's a worldly thing more than a personal thing.
Oh, a
Right.
worldly thing.
Gaelic has really good terms to
Adjectives
to
to-
bring people together that talks about community. Unfortunately, the language is disappearing, much like community is.
Ah,
So
and that
it's
moment was brought to you by
Guinness. Guinness.
too many
The
Guinness.
the proud sponsor of my teenage years, Guinness. So, which haven't ended now since my teens, which was quite a few number of years ago.
Yeah,
So.
right. Do you get to Ireland at all?
I do, yeah. Not as much as I get to Nova Scotia. I try to go to both places a bit.
But easier to go to Nova Scotia.
Right,
obviously.
and we have a family farm up there. Most of us have. I mean, like I said, I'm half and half, so we kind of go back and forth, and it's kind of it's a nice thing because Celtic is really Irish Celtic. I'll be honest with you, all the Scots are really Irish. They all crossed over to Scotland from Ireland,
Yeah.
so it's really a moot point. They
Yeah.
will fight you, the Scots will, but I'll tell you, you can tell them the Cursuas not hane. It's a nice way to say it, to stick it someplace that they should.
Really?
But they will argue about that.
You
Jim,
heard
yeah.
that live
Yeah.
first on.
Anybody in your
Pillsbury Live.
audience that knows Gaelic
Yeah.
is now getting very
man,
irate.
If I
and will be
get
calling
if I
in.
get any,
All
if
three
I
of them.
if you pissed off any of our viewers, this is. Remember those hate emails we got about our Christmas shows? I don't want to see any hate emails. This was not my idea.
Well,
okay?
Irish is all about being happy and inclusiveness.
and saying I'm sorry all the time.
Well,
huh?
St. Patrick, you know about St. Patrick. He was a gentleman. He came from decent people, built a church in Dublinstown and on, and put a steeple. His father was a Gallagher, his mother was a Brady, his auntie an O'Shaughnessy, his uncle was a Grady. Well, anyway, St. Patrick was from Wales. He wasn't even Irish to begin with. So we celebrate our non-Irish patron saint on St. Patrick's Day. He was Welsh, a slave, grabbed from Wales and brought to Ireland. So yeah, so
I see.
we're all inclusive in Ireland.
Yes.
We love
everybody who's
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those times when everybody.
At least this Irishman. I shouldn't probably be speaking for anyone else.
Well,
but,
yeah, right. You guys want to do something?
sure.
Okay.
We're going to do something in the key of H. It's a tune we've been working on lately. It should be interesting.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You know, perhaps the Victory Band could do something in H. or maybe not. Take it away. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just that's, Doug, are you going to fall out of that chair, or that's a Jim Pillsbury live set chair? Okay. I hope you're okay doing it. I see you hitting that thing pretty hard. Where does that song come from? Do we know?
There's a lot of them. The Irish music, Scottish music, there's lots of different tunes thrown together, so there's a raft of tunes, like it'd be a one tune and another tune put after it, and another tune put after it. So you might have 2 or 3 different tunes.
I'm sorry. Yep, my apologies. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, I understand why the lab was taken off to begin with. Okay. You guys, when you go back to your family farms, they all play perhaps different versions of the same thing that they interpret from their family?
Well, I mean, there's lots of different tunes roaming around. Some tunes, like my cousins in Nova Scotia, they play a lot of polkas where they're from, which is a good old Irish tune style, right? Polkas?
I thought that was Polish.
Yeah, it is, but that's the great thing about music. It all kind of moves in and out and comes back and forth. They're known as polka players around where my family's from.
Irish polka players.
Irish polka players. There's a lot of them in Ireland and Nova Scotia. It kind of became like a little bit of a, they play different tunes depending on where they're from. They may specialize. Right? And Ireland's the same. Northern Ireland, like Donegal, the northern part of Ireland where Enya's from. Yeah. That area is really closely related to Scotland because it's so close geographically. So you get a lot of tunes crossing over back and forth. Before a lot of them left to come over here to the New World and all that fun stuff happened. So you get a lot of cross back and forth between tunes and all kinds of stuff, and it's always fun to get 2 fiddle players together because they got to figure out what tunes they know together, and then they got to kind of take the version and make it their own together because there's all kinds of, it's kind of a set.
As we do with other bands, listen to other bands, right? And they come up with their own interpretation sometimes of the, of how it's done. We have about 40 minutes to go. I would like to perhaps see Abby play the instrument and actually dance. So could we do that? May I make a request on this day, or no?
You want to hear you want to hear the drum that she plays?
Oh, that too.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
You can make a request. You let us know what you want to do.
Well,
it's your show, Jim. By the way, I don't know if you're aware of that. I mean,
you're the talent, so I have to tread lightly until the show's over, and then I can really tell you.
We'll let your audience decide if we're the talent or not. I think we're sounding pretty good at least.
I think you're sounding absolutely terrific.
Right. But you let us know what you want to do.
I'll hear the drum music if that's okay.
Okay.
All right. Great. And I just want to make sure that we have enough time to.
The drum that she plays is called a bodhrán. It's an old Irish music instrument, but I think they used it for winnowing, which would mean they would clear the chaff from the wheat when they were doing it, and it wasn't really used as a musical instrument. But then someone decided to stretch a goat skin over the end of it, and then they started beating it with a stick. And then it evolved into kind of a crazy sound, and it's become part of the music. And that's a great thing about any style of music, right? If it doesn't evolve, it dies. So the fact that I listened to Metallica growing up, and also, I can speak Gaelic. It's no big strange thing to me. Although I find it a little strange that I saw Metallica a lot and speak Gaelic. But that's
I find that odd too.
But that's my what I bring to it. Something different. That's a great thing about everybody. Right. Abby brings something different.
And yeah, that's right. Do we need another chair?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Well, Abby will demonstrate a little bit. I don't know if you want to play a tune.
Yeah, give me 3 minutes of that and.
Can you play a tune, dude? Irish something? We'll play an Irish.
Can we get a sound person out here to help? Yeah, when we need one, we just can't find one.
Little musical interlude.
Yeah, that's Irish as it gets.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really vintage stuff,
19th.
man.
Well, that's the great thing about Irish music. It instruments kind of come in. The Irish took the bouzouki from Greece, right? Took it from Greece. Took the bowl off the back of it, right? Because no really good Irishman can play a bowl on the back of an instrument. It just doesn't work because he's got too much Guinness in him. So they took that off, rounded it, closed it down, and made it into an Irish thing. In the last 25, 30 years, it's become part of the tradition, and it's played in a lot of sessions.
So
and
it's
stuff
relatively new.
Right. That's a great thing about traditional music. It's always bringing new influences in, and Boston's a prime example of that. Like all the kind of intermingling of musicians in the Boston area was huge for taking all these tunes that were Irish at one point and Scottish at one point and making them part of almost a collective tradition where it doesn't matter if you're Scottish or Irish. Some of the most well-known tunes played in Ireland were composed by a fiddle player who they call Cape Breton or from Nova Scotia, but actually grew up in Boston. Jerry Holland's his name. So he grew up in Boston, listened to this music from Nova Scotia, actually decided to move back there, is a well-known composer, and everybody in Ireland plays his tunes. Right? So you get this real kind of weird cross-section of influences and stuff like that. And there's all kinds of, in Scotland right now, they have a huge East Indian population, so you're getting tabla players kind of starting to play with Irish and Scottish musicians. So that changes the music completely.
Oh, that puts a whole different texture on it.
Piano changed this music a lot too. When the piano came in and was able to be not an instrument that was dragged around. Obviously now with the small pianos they got, you can take them around everywhere. But up in Nova Scotia and Ireland, piano is quite common. Guitar is a little bit easier because it's more portable, but you still see a lot of pianos, and especially with the new ones you can take around. So
yeah. Well, it's nice to hear. The more instruments I like, that's how I like the band sound. I think that it really does bring a dimension to the music that it can flower and kind of grow and be whatever it is that you guys want it to be at that particular moment in time. So I think the bigger the better.
Well, speaking of bands, we got to thank these guys for letting us take one of their sets in the middle. We appreciate it, guys.
Well, listen, we really wanted to do this Irish thing, and I've been building everybody up to a kind of a frenzy over this. So this is something I'm proud to do. I'm happy to do, and it is great entertainment. By the way, you guys should do an album and certainly a DVD. Just sitting around, hanging out, playing music is a good thing today to do and to watch.
We're all working on them. Yeah, we're all working on CDs. You know how it goes, right? You know, I have a T-shirt.
Collectively?
Well, collectively and apart. That's a nice thing about the scene. Last night we were in an opening in Club Passim in Boston. A lot of musicians. It's kind of everybody knows everybody. But everybody's kind of working on their own thing. But I got a T-shirt that says I'm not in folk music because I like it. I'm in it for the money. So you know, it's always tough at times.
So,
and all those things. So it's working bit by bit. I think Dougie's working on one now, and Abby's getting ready for school. So I don't know what she'll be doing, but she'll be playing lots of tunes and going to school in Scotland or Canada or Harvard, depending on if anybody's from Harvard's out there. I mean, you're missing it, the vote if you don't let her in. But,
exactly.
That's just because we wanted her to stay in Boston and not go to Scotland.
Yeah,
so it's more of a selfish thing than anything
else. It might be
else.
hard to do school and play out. You guys play just like regular bands till 2 o'clock in the morning, I assume. So that's what
two. Yeah, two nights in a row.
Oh, yeah, that's
it's getting dark again. It's getting dark again for the second time since we got up. It's getting dark again.
That's
anyway.
funny. I think what we'll do is, if you wish, you could come over here, let the band dismount our thing. We can talk quickly. The Victory Band will line up and we'll have a closing song from them. This is kind of a real treat to have nothing but music and fun and talk, and I hope our viewers have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed producing it, and it's nerve-wracking as hell because I wish I could be in the back room and out here at the same time, you know what I mean? Someday I'm going to have a switch right here and I can do it all. Nah, no way. I couldn't do it all. No way. I hope, Gravy, you got I'm sure you got a kick out of this too. It was really great to see the kind of the acoustic side of the Irish music thing. I think it's a fun thing. Sir, thank you very much for coming on. How will people see you on the web?
Well, my website's cliffmcgann.com.
Yeah.
And we're actually playing on St. Paddy's Day in Lowell, all
In
day
Lowell.
at the Dubliner.
And we're on in Lowell.
Yes, in Chelmsford as well, where I live.
That's
so,
right.
So we'll be down there at St. Paddy's Day in Lowell all day. And Abby's playing that night, I think, at the Children's Museum in Boston as well. So
By yourself?
With another musician, not with the rest of us. But we kind of all play together and apart. And if we can play together, we do. And it's kind of a fun thing. It's friendly more than anything else.
Yeah, and somehow you're going to make a living at it.
Well, I work part-time doing other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
Do real
Irish-
estate videos for Caldwell
Irish,
Banker.
Irish mob somewhere.
No, God, no.
No.
I do something legitimate.
Really?
Caldwell Banker do real estate video tours, virtual tours.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's
that pays the
high-tech.
bills,
Yeah.
and then I do this on the side. And
Yeah, that's high tech.
well, it's not too bad. It
Yeah.
lets me do what I want to do.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
gives me some freedom.
Thank you so much, sir,
No
for
problem.
coming
It was
on.
great. It's nice meeting you finally.
Yes, and we're.
You're a legend up our ways, by the way, Jim. No,
Thank you.
seriously.
Thank you, and thank you for coming on the show.
No problem.
And good luck on St. Patrick's Day, and we'll have you back in the summertime when we play outside. So I
Yes.
want you to stay right there.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week with another incredibly good show. It won't be Irish music, but let me tell you, we'll have a great time. We're going to close with the Victory Band as we do each week. So we'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
Love it or lose it, we're going on the road. I'm sick of coming home every day, watching TV hitting the hay. I got the urge to grab my guitar, yeah, oh yeah. I called my friends and said it was time. To waste this music would be a crime. Concerts and parades near and far. Love it or lose it, we're going on the road. Let's go, Nova Scotia. Oh, yeah. Well, let me hear you say yeah. Oh yeah. Love it or lose it, we're going on the road. Let's take a boat to Ireland. I hear you say yeah, oh yeah. I said, love it or lose it, we're going on the road. I called my friends and said it was time. To waste this music would be a crime. Concerts and parades in